On today's program, and soon on the screen, you can learn about the new best-selling novel, Paper Towns, by the writer John Green. And Almaty has recently hosted an event of the memory of the director Bakhtyer Khudoynazarov, as well as the premiere of the latest feature film, Waiting for the Sea. You can learn all about it in our program Art Event. And in our program On the Frontline, we will look at the theater of opera and ballet named after a bai, which has been holding rehearsals for the famous opera Carmen, but in a different and modern interpretation. The hero of today's Master Has It is a plastic makeup master, Sergey Kortel, who will tell us about his interesting craft. Soon to the screen will come the detective melodrama Paper Town, filmed by the novel by John Green, the author of the famous best-selling novel Blame the Stars. The novel Paper Town became the 5th in the list of best books according to the New York Times, and was awarded the Edgar Allan Poe Prize. In the plot of the film, there is a school graduate, Khudoynazarov Jacobson, who is secretly in love with his neighbor Margot since his childhood. Therefore, one night she invites him to take part in a punitive operation against her attackers, and he agrees. But when they come to school after the night of adventures, Khudoynazarov learns that Margot has disappeared. She's left him a mysterious message that he must solve in order to find her, and Khudoynazarov starts to pursue her, but the girl who lives in his heart for many years doesn't exist. The screen rights were bought by the Fox Company. The director of the film is Jack Schreiner. The male lead is Nat Wolff. The female lead is played by the famous top model, Cara Delevingne. Almaty has hosted an event in the memory of the director Bakhtyer Khudoynazarov, as well as the premiere of his latest film, Waiting for the Sea. The film was shot entirely in the Mangistau region of Kazakhstan. Kazakh filmmakers and friends of the director gathered to pay tribute to the master and watch his latest film. I have known Bakhtyer for many years. He was a unique person and a poet with a capital P. I could never imagine that he would leave us. This is a unique project because of its production in 5 countries. The topic is interesting for everyone. For example, the problem of water, the Aral Sea problem. The crew also was international. There were sound designers from France, cameramen were from Belgium, and the administrative group was from Russia, and the director of the groups were from Kazakhstan. They all didn't understand each other. The first shooting days were very funny because nobody understood each other. Then everyone began to do their work, and under such difficult conditions, when the day was very hot and the night was very cold, all the people stuck together. We lived in tents and had to shoot for 2 summers. We had no time to finish shooting in the first summer due to Bakhtyer's serious illness. He was in the hospital and we stopped shooting. The following year he felt better and we could finish the film. The work was very interesting. All of this was organized by the intelligence and the creative force of Bakhtyer Khudoynazarov. We built a whole town for the filming of this movie. The film is a parable, a legend, so the city must also look like that. If not from the world, it's like all of his films. The town had an airport, a seaport, and houses. A mosque, a church. Actually, we also built the entire infrastructure. We even made a huge ship that traveled through the desert. And it's true, this is a huge ship, 40 meters long. There were a lot of difficulties, but we had overcome them. We were visited by the representatives of all the countries involved in the production of the film. The film tells the story of the major environmental disaster of the 20th century, the disappearance of the Aral Sea. Marat, the captain of a fishing vessel, runs into a gale and his entire team dies. He's sentenced to 10 years in prison. After returning home, Marat discovers that the sea has disappeared, and the meaning of life of the whole city has disappeared as well. The protagonist decides to find his ship, and he looks for the sea within the bare steppe. The picture raises a lot of questions that have no answers, and it leaves the viewer alone with his thoughts. The movie is about the disappearing sea and the fishermen who are left without a meaning of their life. I believe that Bakhtyer told everything that he wanted to say in this movie, and he left a cherished memory of his life. The opera Carmen has repeatedly been sounded on the stage of the Almaty State Academic Opera and Ballet Theatre named after Abai. However, this time the creators have decided to bring on a new production feel to the classic work, in a completely new and different, as well as modern, way. In order to bring the characters of the opera into our present times, the authors used modern costumes, scenery, and props, which takes the audience into a world of models and bikers. Our crew could not remain uninvolved, and we visited the rehearsals of the unexpected performance of the world-famous opera Carmen by Jorge Bizet. I suggested this new solution to the Carmen production. I also suggested that the management make it more modern by transforming the actions in this opera to the current times for the first time. I must say my mission is inviting new spectators to our theater. The opera Carmen is the most popular and the hit performance in the world, if to say in modern language, in the entire opera world and generally in the theater area. That's why I believe that our spectators will be glad to see this new solution in this opera. I am proud to say that this is an author's unique perspective, the premiere of which will be conducted in Almaty, in Kazakhstan, by Kazakh teams.
It was very easy to work with the Kazakhstan theater because we have to sing like the original partiture from George Bizet, but it's the same here or in Mexico or in USA or in Germany. It's the same context. I say it's not new what I sing. It's not new for me. What I do, yes, what I do, what I have to make on the stage is new, but not difficult. And you say our project, and you say Carmen, you say George Bizet, I think will be great.
Carmen is a woman of mystery, a female element. This time, though, Carmen is brought before us as a top model, Don Jose as a policeman, and Escamillo as a street biker. The authors believe that a modern solution to classic opera will not leave anyone indifferent. The art of changing appearances by actors by using different materials and tools originated in the Middle Ages and successfully has existed up to the present times. But only until the beginning of the 20th century was a fundamental new type of makeup which began to spread. This is plastic makeup. To deal with this complex art form, you need a lot of patience, great imagination, and skill. Today our guest is Sergey Kortel, a plastic makeup artist, and he will tell us about his interesting craft.
Люблю рисовать, люблю кино.
I always loved to draw, and I love cinema. I have a constant great interest for this. I began with comics. Once my friend wanted to make an aerographic, so I began to draw a car picture. And that's close to what I wanted them to see. People liked it and they invited me as an aerographic artist. Then I began to paint the walls and followed with body art. Body art was replaced by makeup because at that time people began to celebrate holidays like Halloween. I made simple things like mixing a gouache with different materials that were not used in body art. Year by year I had a desire to improve my skills. I learned a lot from the internet and I made more complicated things. Now I can see that I'm able to make makeup like in the movies. Because I think I had childhood dreams in the back of my mind to make what they make in movies. I wish we had it here. To complete the image, you need to know the full story of the hero. What he carries, good or evil. Is he a victim or a predator? His clothing or the way he walks, his facial features. All say this about his nature. We either say that he is a weak character or he doesn't inspire fear, or if he's a dangerous character. If you just paint the face a certain color, it won't be enough. Each character has to carry a story. And makeup artists become painters and sculptors all in one. He must even have some medical skills because he needs to know the anatomical features of a person. For example, bone structures, or how a man looks without skin. How to make a person more funny or more gentle, or vice versa. For example, bone structures, or how someone looks without skin. How a person can be more funny or more gentle, or vice versa, more dangerous and malicious. A man doesn't believe that things go beyond his subconscious base. He may not know exactly how a human skeleton is designed, but he may subconsciously know what it looks like. When we use, for example, elements of a skeleton, a man is convinced that in fact it looks believable. And if we do something wrong, something that breaks all human anatomy and the plastic, something ridiculous thing, the man simply won't believe it. The hero will feel inferior. All these elements should be considered. The hero should feel himself easy. He must not feel any interference. There should not be any unnecessary elements. If we produce some image, we use all of these elements in order to make the hero more comfortable. If a man has imagination, he can create original, shocking images by using minimal materials. But if we want to radically change the appearance, we need more complex materials and tools. Here you must include an artist that is within you. The artist draws a sketch of an idea and the image of the story for the hero. Also, you should be a sculptor who reproduces all of this from a cast of a human face made of clay or plastiline. All of these elements, you want to see his character. You get a patch and there is already included a makeup artist who begins to add color elements. When everything is ready and already on the face of an actor, you must include a stylist, a costume and makeup artist who also must be with you. The cinema with the elements of makeup should be shot in completely different ways. It is a different world with different imaging and technology. For example, zombies in movies are shot from certain angles, or they have certain makeup, because they will be shot from that certain angle. The most complex elements of makeup are discussed in advance. The point is stipulated in every single detail. At the end of every work, the images are created by me and they seem that they are not quite finished. I always want to add something more. I always try to create something better than the previous one. You cannot stop. It is necessary to gradually complicate your tasks so that after 2 or 3 years, you'll remember the way you used to do it and be surprised by how much you can already do and how much you want to do more. There truly is no limit to development.